Hey, what's up, everybody? I thought I'd give you a little bit behind the scenes. I was going to say last week, but it was a couple days ago. I posted this graphic of my speaking schedule next week. And, I had some resistance around sharing that graphic because I'm like speaking every single day of the week next week and going from a different city and a different state each day. Well, not a different state each day. A couple of them are in the same state, but different city or a different state each day. I didn't even post the following week where I've got some additional travel and stuff coming up that following week. Um, and I had some resistance because, I talk about mental health. I'm a mental health advocate. I believe in being effective, but I don't believe in being busy. And I didn't want people to think that I'm just busy because a lot of times when people see me traveling or um, just the different experiences that I get to have, the people I get to connect with, like there is this perception of me that I'm just busy all the time. And I tell people I am not that busy. Like I am not that. I mean, I'm effective. I'm you know use my time wisely, but I'm not as busy as people may feel I am because I've found a way to design my life in a way that allows me to make a larger impact. I didn't want people to think that because I didn't want people to think like that's number one from my future clients. I don't want to think them to think that that is the schedule that they have to have consistently in order to be a successful speaker and make impact in the lives of other people from stage. And I didn't want the audience in which I speak to think that like I'm being contradictory to the message that I preach about work life balance, about having healthy boundaries, about honoring your priorities, about taking care of yourself. And so I thought I'll just show you, like, I've been, I've been chilling this morning. Like, I just been, and I drove, like, I went to Nashville yesterday and attended this mastermind event that Mary Hyatt hosted. It was such a great, amazing space. I should do a whole live about some of the takeaways. Really great. We talked about this pressure to, be on social media and grow your business and do reels and create pages and funnels and webinars. And then this other side of us that's just like we're conscious and we are in alignment and we're attracting opportunities to us and we value in person and deep connections. And so it was a great space to just talk and collaborate with other like-minded people. um and so I literally, that's all I did yesterday. Like, I drove to Nashville, went to that event, sat at a coffee shop, had one Zoom meeting with a friend, gave her some advice on her TEDx talk, and then came back, you know, chilled with my wife and kissed my babies, and that was my day yesterday. And I woke up this morning and just been chilling, doing my spiritual practice, ate breakfast, put my kids on the bus, talked to my wife, came out here, had a meeting about one of the engagements I'm doing next week just to get all the logistics figured out. And I'm just looking at the lake. And I just wanted to come out here and just show y'all, like, hey, I'm not that busy. And also to just give this message around what if you didn't have to choose? Because there's part of me that knows that there's so much more good I can do in the world if I just speak in more places. Like, it's not that I'm turning down a ton of business, it's that I'm just not allowing a lot of business to come my, let me say, more business to come my way. And, I don't have a super fire demo reel when I could have. I haven't invested a ton of money into my website, which I could have. I haven't spent, you know, uh, the the money to invest in better brand images and marketing packages to really push the books and all the stuff and me as an authority. I haven't done that, and part of me likes it that way because I'm like, I don't need none of that, right? Like, I am authentic. I build real connections. I serve people. I'm intentional. Like, I don't run my business that way. But there's another part of me that's like, if I did, I could make a larger impact, right? A perfect example. I remember when I did my TEDx talk, I had this thing at the point where I got over my insecurity about sharing it, where I was like, I'm going to hit 1 million views and I'm going to do it completely organically. I'm not going to do any big fancy PR. I'm not going to like do a television tour. I'm not going to do all these things. I'm just literally going to help, like, the people who the talk has impacted, ask them to help be a part of the movement and share it. And that's how the thing grew. is it was literally helpful within itself. It didn't need all that other stuff. And I had like an edge and a chip on my shoulder about that. And then I don't remember what it was, but somebody was like, yeah, but what could you have done and how many people impact to say about what's wrong with like doing all this big fancy PR was um based upon other people and how they use PR, right? Like they're buying rankings, it's inauthentic, they're portraying image that's not who they really are. They're like on all these big, huge uh media outlets, but their stuff isn't that great. Like their programs are hollow, and I'm like, I'm not about to be that guy. And realizing that just because I do PR doesn't mean that I have to be that guy. In that space that we were at, the mastermind, that was a big thing. It's like, hey, just because we use social media, don't mean we have to be a slave to social media. Doesn't mean we have to be a victim to the algorithm. Like we have the power to choose, and we um don't have to decide between what we want and the pressure of like other people's opinion. Like we can design our life and use these tools in the way that's in alignment with who we really are. And we can literally have it all. So, Daryl, I can have the impact without the hustle, without the burnout. Daryl, I can have the big PR without the authenticity. What's the opposite of authenticity? Inauthenticity. Like I can have the big PR without the inauthenticity. There's another word for that. If you know what the word I'm looking for, drop it in the chat. Help your boy out. But I don't have to be inauthentic just because I'm doing big fancy PR. And so now I'm shifting this corner and I'm making this decision as of like yesterday that I'm gonna do the PR. I'm gonna speak on more stages. I'm gonna be okay with allowing my schedule to appear to be more busy because I realize that other people's perceptions are always going to be their perception. I do not have the power to change everybody's mind just because they decide to watch one reel or look at one graphic that I post and think all of these things about me doesn't mean that it's actually true. And people who actually follow my journey, they see the time I spend with my family, they pay attention to the fact that I'm not always on social media posting all the time. They look at the consistency, they look at who I actually am and how I'm actually showing up. And more importantly, the people who really know me. I don't know why. Like I've been basing my decisions based upon some of y'all who don't even know me. like follow me, but don't really know me. Like listen to me, value the things I have to share, but don't really know me. And I do my best to be authentic. Like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm chilling. I got my coaching call. I'm gonna get coached on my coaching call here in an hour, and then I'm gonna do that. And I got 3 or 4 meetings today. Taking my daughter to parent teacher night. We're gonna eat dinner together. Like this is a good work life balance, y'all. And I don't have to sacrifice myself on the altar of success, and neither do you. And so I want you to think about that. Have you been delaying a decision because of people's perceptions of what that decision might mean for you? Maybe you've delayed, talking about your business more because you didn't want people to think that you're hustling and grinding. But if you're not hustling and grinding, what do you care what people think? And so it's been a real anchoring moment. I wasn't gonna say a shift because I think the shift already happened. I think I'm just anchoring in that decision. And that's what made me share the graphic about my speaking schedule. Not that will continue to do all that, but I'm definitely going to welcome more speaking opportunities and let people think what they're going to think because people always are going to have an opinion whether you do what they want or not. Right. And one of the things that came up for me is around talking about money. I did one post about money. I don't know when it was, like last week or something. And oh my God, I felt like uh people came out the woodworks just like, oh, brother, it's about the impact, brother. It's about the impact, not about the money. And I'm like, dude, I don't have to choose between money and impact. In fact, I believe the more I impact people's lives, the more wealth that I'll be able to generate and circulate, circulate. Okay. It's not about accumulating. I want to accumulate, but I also want to circulate, right? Like circulate, accumulate. I believe in being a giver. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm a giver. And so I don't have to prove that to other people just because they saw one post where I talked about money and that I made more money and what I say in 8 months and I have in any 3-year collective period in my life. Like people just like, oh, it's about the impact, brother. And I'm like, duh, That's why I do it. And there doesn't have to be a separation. You don't have to choose between money and impact. You don't have to choose between social media and true, authentic connection. You don't have to choose between family and business. You don't have to choose. You can actually have it all. Oh my gosh. What about that concept? How would your life change if you realized you didn't have to choose, but you could actually have it all? Have it all in your terms, what you want, the design you want. And money is a side effect of the impact you are making. Justin, I know, man. Let me put this on the screen. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. I know, but I guarantee you there's somebody else watching this video or watch this replay, hashtag replay if you're watching this replay, and they will be like, no, man. Sometimes people make it too much about the money, and it's only about the impact. And if there's people who are righteous about the fact that they don't charge to speak. That it's not about money for them. It's about impact. And I'm saying like, so it's. Do you think that it's about money because I get paid money? That doesn't make sense at all. And let me tell you something about free speaking engagements. My experience from being a speaker since 2013 is that a lot of times, not all the time, not all the time, please don't crucify me for saying this, but a lot of the times, the people who pay attention. The people who pay run better events. The microphone's actually working when you get there. The audience actually shows up on time. They actually have follow up protocols and procedures. And the people that don't pay, guess what? Nobody really shows up. They don't promote the event. Like the audience is empty. They didn't even forgot to send them a follow-up email. It's like they're not really invested. And I know it's not all about money. I get some people don't have budgets. Trust me, I ran an addiction recovery ministry. We had a ton of guest speakers. I didn't pay any of them. Okay. We didn't have no budget. We could barely afford the donuts and the coffee for the people. And thank God for partners that helped us to be able to do that. So again, do you see the tension? The tension. And if there's one thing I wish so desperately for our world, and I wish I would have just made the live stream about this, it is about grace. It is about openness. It is about being conversational. Please, y'all, please make this commitment with me. Do not judge people based upon social media. Please don't do that. If you don't know the person, haven't sat down with the person, I don't care how much of them you've seen, unless they have gone on a video and say, I hate black people, I hate white people, I'm racist. Unless they've said those words out of their mouth, like do not assume things about them that you have not heard directly from them, because social media doesn't show you everything. There's an algorithm that doesn't even show you all of the content of the people you follow unless you turn on notifications and see all for that people, and unless you stay on social media all the time, because even then you're still getting blasted with notifications and all this stuff. And so do not do that. I'm telling you, it's what's causing so much pain and anger in our world. Like if you watch the news all day, you would think that everyone's against each other. You would think that people are just ripping each other's head off, and there's all these wars, and there's all this hatred, and there's all this anger, and that does exist. But can I tell you something that also exists? Unity. People loving each other. Like go look at the picture that we shared from yesterday's event. Look at the diversity in the room. Look at the love in the room. I mean, we're touching each other. We're hugging each other. We just met. Most of us. I didn't know any of the people except for two of them. I knew two of, well, three. I knew Mary, I knew Justin, I knew Nick. Didn't know any of the other people, but hugging them like they're my best friends. I'm telling you, there's way more. Listen, there's way more love going on in our world than there is hatred. And that, I'm telling you, that's the reality. There's way more love than there is hatred. There's way more collaboration than there is competition. But I tell you what, there won't be if we continue to judge other people based upon social media and see one post that we don't like, be hypersensitive to it, block the person, say, I'm not following them, I don't agree with their opinion. Well, you don't understand that they have a family, they have a perspective, they have an upbringing. And then where's the grace in that narrative? Where's the grace? Like, are you mature enough to reach out to people and build relationships with people who don't think like you, don't look like you, don't act like you, don't talk to like you? Like, that is how we actually change our world. We do not change our world by gathering together in silos, agreeing with people who agree with us, talking to people who think the same way as us. We have to build relationships with people who are not like us. Why? Because then we can actually see people for who we really are. Then we can actually, what the Bible says is iron sharpens iron. As iron sharpens iron, so one sharpens another, right? That's what can happen. So, like, please, for the love of God, love people, Give people grace. Don't block people. Matter of fact, make it. I would start following. This would be a fire action. If each one of us watching this right now would follow one person we disagree with, reach out to them, say, "Hey, man, I'd love to learn more about that. Tell me more about that." I'm telling you, that's the type of stuff that changes because it shows that the power of love. Love isn't tested when we agree. Love is tested when we don't agree. That's when love is tested. Now, it can be displayed in agreement, like I love my wife, and that's displayed through our deepening of intimacy. But love can also be displayed with someone that I can't stand. I mean, oh, can't stand. Ah, but still choose to love. And to me, that's a powerful message. So I didn't plan to go this route, but I did feel led to kind of share that at the end. So I hope that's valuable for you. I'd love to hear your comments on this. Let me know. Do you feel stuck into between decisions and feel like you have to choose because of other people's perception? And is this helpful to you to know that you don't have to choose, that you can actually have it all? You just have to design it the right way, navigate it the right way, be in alignment. Um, is it helpful to you to hear how you can actually start to change the narrative in our culture by loving people who you don't like? Will you accept the challenge to reach out to I'll do it. I will. I'll do it. I promise. I'm gonna do it as soon as I get off the stream. I'm gonna find somebody who irritates me. There's a lot of them. And I'm gonna say, hey, um, I would love to grab 15, 30 minutes just to learn more about your story and your journey. Right? Why? Because I don't know what they're going through. I don't know why they think the way that they think. I don't see what they see. And maybe there's something for me to learn. We can learn anything from anybody, no matter what social economic status they're in, no matter what background they come from. We can learn anything from anybody because everyone has a superpower. Everyone was put here for a reason. Everyone has light, love, and lessons to share. So let's do that. Let's do that and start to change our narrative. All right. Thank you. You're right. We can learn a lot about each other. Thank you for that. I see you, sweetie. Yes, people's perceptions. Thank you for tuning in. All right, y'all. Love you. And until next time, peace.